India to Australia, influences on food consumption. India is the largest country in Asia. It's 3.3 million square kilometres. It has a long and rich food history. 5,000 years ago, starting at 3000 BC, the Indus period, the intro of wheat, rice, barley, eggplant, tamarind, cucumber, oil, turmeric, ginger and green peppers. Then the Aryan period of 1500 BC, intro of lentils, yogurt, ghee, cumin, coriander, black pepper. The Greeks brought saffron, tea came from China, the Portuguese and the British cauliflower, red chili and potatoes. The Mughal period of 1200 AD. The Muslim Mughals from Persia and Turkey bought almonds. The Mughals brought almonds, cashews, rosewater and raisins, but importantly introduced the curry to India. Food and India, regional differences. The north eat more bread and the south more rice. Coastal has access to fish, inland and mountainous regions poultry and lamb. Traditional cooking was done with cow dung for fuel. It's an economical waste product. It has a high heat to start and a long slow burn, and still used by the poor today. Food preparation. Majority of preparation consists of frying off onion, garlic, ginger and spices. Then we add meat and veg, yogurt and spice to simmer, and lastly adding leafy veg and herbs, and this is your curry. Indian holidays of religions are celebrated with feasts. Indians eat many small meals and snacks each day. They also have lunch and a late dinner of 2 or 3 dishes and a milky chai before they go to bed. Here's a list of the top food commodities in India. We've got milk and dairy products, followed by rice, vegetables, wheat, fruit and potatoes, which we can presume make up a high proportion of Indians' diet. Here's our case study, Vivan. He's 46 years old. He was born in India and he moved to Australia at 25. He's married with 3 children and he is an accountant. Indian migration patterns to Australia. At 1800 to 1860, the first Indian immigrants arrived in Australia, labourers, domestics and camel drivers. 1860 to 1901, the majority of Indian immigrants worked on the banana and sugar plantations in Queensland. The 1901 to 1960s, there was no migration from India due to the White Australia policy being introduced, but the 1970s till now, the number of Indian immigrants has increased substantially, a lot of them highly skilled doctors, IT and engineers. Here's a list of the top food commodities in Australia. Milk at the top, followed by beer, wheat, then vegetables, potatoes and poultry. Comparison of top commodities in India and Australia, and some of them are really quite similar and some of them are extremely different. Australians. 1 in 4 Australian residents were born overseas. We have people from 200 different countries incorporating 300 ethnicities. Indian people make up 16% of the migration program for 2011-2012. 1.4% of our Australian population is Indian. 3% of Indian-born residents have arrived since 2006. 300,000 Australian residents were born in India and another 300,000 identify with an Indian ancestry. Indian influences on Australian food. This is not just a new thing. Worcestershire sauce, which was born in Britain, and obviously became popular in Australia due to its relationship with Britain, was born out of Indian influence. Joseph Keane, a British immigrant who lived in Tasmania, introduced curry powder to the Australian colonies, and you can find Keane's curry powder in Australian pantries today. Indian influences on Australian food. Areas of high population of Indian immigrants brings with it restaurants and groceries, and advances in food technology and transport allows us access to new ingredients. India is a growing destination for Australian tourists who love new experiences, including food experiences. Globalisation has exposed everyone to more access to ethnic food. Authenticity and adaptation. Initially, Indian restaurants in India and other countries were run by North Indians, the Punjabis, and the dishes they served were traditionally those served to royalty, which isn't a true reflection of the food of the real people of India. As a result, some of the authenticity of Indian food has been lost due to globalisation and fusion of dishes to suit our Western palates. Conversely, Indian immigrants are also adapting to the ingredients available and changing some of their daily habits. Social media and the World Wide Web have played a huge role in the popularity of ethnic food, including that of Indian. Just look at some of the statistics on this page for Indian food and Indian restaurants. My hometown of regional Port Lincoln, which is tiny, now has 2 Indian restaurants. Multicultural Australia. Australia today is one of the most multicultural countries in the world, with people from 200 countries and 300 different ethnicities, with a huge contribution from the Indian community, especially in food and the culinary environment.